All right, so today we will talk about kinematics of a particle, okay? And kinematics is basically about finding the relationship between the position, velocity, and acceleration, okay? So that's what we're going to be doing in this chapter. It's a little bit of a repetition from the previous part, 2231, I believe. And from chapter 13, we will deal with forces, okay? So when you have a motion, like these are the physical quantities that are used to represent a motion, like where your stuff is, how fast it is moving, how fast it is being accelerated or decelerated, things like that. So these are the numbers we use to express the motion. And the motion is actually coming from a force, right? There's a force, so things are moving. As of now, in this chapter, we're not talking about the force. Somehow, it's just moving and it is given, okay? So that's what we're doing here. From chapter 13 and so on, we will be dealing with the forces as well. So where these motions are coming from, and then eventually you'll analyze how that motion is developing, okay? So first part is rectilinear kinematics and continuous motion. So the goal here is find the kinematic quantities, position, displacement, velocity, and acceleration of a particle that is traveling along a straight path. So let's say there's a particle, like a car here, okay? And it's at this location. So we're gonna set an origin, and from that origin, we're creating a vector like this. All right, so position is defined as, so this here is defined as particle location relative to the origin or a fixed point. And position vector R, I'm going to put this underscore, okay, and that's going to represent a vector. And position vector R has distance, which is the magnitude. And in order to represent the magnitude, we will use S. And it has direction here, just plus or minus, because it's a straight line going along the axis. Direction is going to be a positive direction, plus, and going against that axis is going to be a minus, okay? So important thing is it's a vector, R, so it has the magnitude and it has the direction, okay? I think it's pretty straightforward so far. Here and there, you may see a bracket like this, and these are just a little bit of a recap of math or some physics that I want you guys to understand. So scalar, say x, has magnitude only, and vector, y, and again, I'm going to denote vectors by putting an underscore, and that has magnitude and direction. So vectors, it is represented by arrow, so the length of this arrow is the magnitude, right? And the direction is obviously the direction. So we use these arrows to represent vectors, okay? All right, and then the next physical quantity, so first part was this position, and the next part is this displacement. So displacement is defined as the change of position at a certain time, okay? And so we're going to be using this delta R, and this delta is the change of R, and this is nothing but R2 minus R1. R2 is position at time 2, and let's say R1 is the position at time 1. So very straightforward, right? And this change is nothing but R2 minus R1, all right? Or you can write this thing as what? R1 plus delta R is going to be your R2. So if this delta R was a positive, then it moved to the positive direction. If this delta R had a negative value, or it's the opposite, then it moved to the negative direction. Very straightforward, I think. So in this case, our displacement vector is going to be like this. Okay? So this is something you'll want to remember. Or you can think like this. At time 1, it was here, and then it changed. So at time 2, it has a position over there. You might feel I'm repeating something super simple, but there's a reason I'm doing this, because later on it will be a little bit more complicated. Still simple idea, but the numbers and the representation is going to be complicated, so you get lost. But originally, it's a very simple idea, okay? So you're at position 1, and you change, so it becomes position 2. And that change is called the displacement, all right? Okay, and another, again, very obvious thing is displacement is not equal to total distance traveled. Okay, so let's say you were here at time 1, and later at time 2, you're there, and you traveled like this. And in that case, displacement delta R is nothing but R2 minus R1, right? Where magnitude is nothing but S2 minus S1. And it has a direction going to the left. Basically, it's this, right? So that's the displacement. Doesn't matter what you did. At some point you were here, and later you were there. So the displacement is this. But the total distance traveled is you travel like this, and then you came back. So you have this distance and that distance, so you need to add those two. That's your total distance traveled, right? And this is always positive. Very simple, isn't it? So let me give you a little bit of time. What will be the displacement and the total distance traveled if we had a case like this? At time 0, you were here. At time 10, you're there. And you travel like this. The displacement would be what? 20, right? 20 meter. And the direction would be? Direction. Yes? Direction? Negative. Negative, yes. So we can put an arrow like this. Or you can write it as minus 20 meter. Very good. What will be the total distance in this case? 25? 30? 25? 30? I think it's 30, right? So you got 5 here, and from here to there is 25, right? So it's 25 plus 5, so it's 30 meter, okay? Very simple concept here, right? Total distance traveled is not always same as the displacement, okay? Any questions up to this point? All right, let's move on. Okay, so now we would like to talk about the velocity. So the velocity is the rate of change of position at certain time. Previously, we were here, and then later you're there. And this is going to be the delta R, right? Oops, these guys have to be underscores. Like that, right? And this is delta R we have, isn't it? And what we're talking about is the rate of this change. So how fast that happened. So it moved from here to there, but it took like 1 hour to do this thing, or it took only a minute to do this thing, things like that. That's your velocity, isn't it? So average velocity first would be delta r divided by the time it took, or we can write it as delta t r2 minus r1, like that. And that's the average velocity. But we don't know what happened in between. Like at time 1, it was here, and at time 2, it was there. Maybe it moved slowly, and then boom, it moved like that. Or maybe it boom moved, and then boom, it slowed down like this. It can move back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and go there. We don't know. It was here, and later it's there. Okay? So the average of this whole motion is going to be like this. But we can also think about the instantaneous velocity. Like at certain time, what was that, the velocity at that point? So this thing, now we have this. So velocity, or let me make this whole thing like that. So instantaneous velocity is dr dt. So the displacement you have, you find the derivative of this, that's going to be your velocity. Okay? And if this had a positive value, it moved to the positive direction. If this was a negative value, it moved against that direction. And speed is magnitude of that velocity, and average speed is going to be the total distance it moved divided by the time it took. So the important thing here is remembering this relationship. Displacement you have, and the rate of change is going to be your velocity, right? And let's note that velocity is not always same as the average speed as well. So let's get back to that previous simple case. You were here originally, and later on you're there after 10 seconds, right? The displacement in this case was what? Can anybody help me? What was the displacement for this case? 20, right? Let's make it 20 meter in this direction, right? Direction is important as well, because displacement is a vector. Okay? And so from here, if we find the average velocity, then it's going to be 20 meter going to the left, and it took 10 seconds, so it's going to be 2 meter per second, and it's going to the left like that. And the total distance you moved was 25, no, it was 30, right? So the average speed would be 30 meter, 10 seconds, so it's going to be 3 meter per second. All right? And then we will talk about the last quantity, which is the acceleration. And again, this is the rate of change of velocity. How fast the velocity changes. So let's say at this point, you had a velocity of this big. It was a velocity going to the right, and it had a quantity like this big. So maybe it's relatively slow stuff. But later on, at this point, you have velocity still going to the right side, but now it has large quantity, so it became faster. And instantaneous acceleration is, again, dv dt. This is all something you learned from physics course, I believe. Okay, so far we talked about a few things. Position, right? And displacement. Position is literally the location where it is, and displacement is the change of that position. And then velocity is a rate of that change of position, and dr dt is your velocity, and acceleration is the rate of change of velocity. So dv dt is going to be your acceleration. Okay? All right. Any questions up to this point? None? Let's move on. And there can be a case like this where you have negative acceleration yet still have a positive velocity. Can anyone think about a case like this? What was that? Yes, exactly. Braking your vehicle. So you're still moving forward, but you're slowing down. Okay? So the acceleration is negative. It's the opposite direction, but you still have a positive velocity until you stop. Okay? So this is a case where you accelerate. At time 1, you're relatively slow. At time 2, you're getting faster. And you were fast and you get slow, but the acceleration is going to be a negative value. And here, acceleration is a positive value. Okay? All right. Very good. So to summarize this, we have displacement, velocity, acceleration. Displacement is the difference between those two positions. Velocity, dr dt. Acceleration is dv dt, or this. So from displacement to acceleration, you are differentiate. In other words, you're find the rate of change. Okay? And the opposite way, let's say you have acceleration and you want to find velocity and displacement as you go up, you're integrating, or you find the area under the time curve. All right.